Okay, so just in case, like, hello, everyone. I'm just here to check to make sure that everything is running, according to, like, to the main stream. Okay, it seems that it's processing. Okay, just making sure. Okay. Hello, my name is Arc Messenger. And today, I just, most likely, setting up in a certain manner. And if you haven't heard of, based upon, what is going on, what I posted on or not Twitch, on Twitter, I just recently, several days ago, did a poll, a poll count of which type of theme or type of characters that you want me to draw. So, this is sort of something that, hopefully would go more smoothly. But right now, I'm just, it's probably my roommate that just arrived, but, not the roommate that you guys talked to from before. Alright, so I think, for most parts from the count overall, the statistics, I suggested, what was it called? The Brave Little Toaster, Sonic the Hedgehog, Winnie the Pooh, and other option. So, it should already ended of the, for the responses from this point. And when I was checking it a few times ago, I ended up getting final results of Winnie the Pooh and Sonic the Hedgehog. So those are the two, and it's a tie too because it says 50% on each end. There's only 2 votes, but I mean it's good enough for me. At least I'll be able to know what exactly to do for the next stream. It would be similar to when we did the very first stream. So as far as I guess the very distinct style I'm gonna end up doing. I may not be able to get the specific character or a type of character. I could always, draw a specific character in the future. If, if you want me to do, another Sonic character or another Winnie the Pooh character. That could happen. I just have to make sure that, just for future suggestions, I could always draw, a different character. So what I'm doing today is, I already set up Photoshop, so at least it'd be broadcast. So now here, so basically, I guess what I could choose first is probably Winnie the Pooh, because that's one of the suggestions that I might be able to come up immediately. So let me see if I'll be able to refresh memory. So I'm trying to think of which, because my favorite, I got 3, I guess, distinct characters that I enjoyed. So I know pretty much it's always been Tigger or Winnie the Pooh or anybody else that usually chooses, but I'm probably gonna be choosing a character that, like probably like nobody would expect. So I'll go ahead and draw this character because like it's not like maybe not my favorite character now. Maybe still it sort of is, but like first I guess it's sort of like a memory thing. Like I guess in my youth, but like I'll probably explain a story like in the future. But like basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna draw a rabbit specifically because I have that sort of because I think the reason why I was kind of drawn into Rabbit is because I guess I kind of like the expressions at the time that he keeps making. Because like he's like one of the few characters that kind of stand out compared to of how expressions Winnie the Pooh makes or Tigger makes. Because for Tigger, like it's more personality wise that kids enjoy and the calm like for Pooh. For Rabbit, it's like even though I don't like as much upon his character, but I really enjoyed of how he's able to handle situations in a sense where, like, especially he has to process that once dialogue is through in progress, and then like of how he responds or how he tries to react upon like different situations. So I guess like in most parts it's kind of hard specifically to explain further, but I mean, I still like Rabbit today. It's just like, I guess like everyone has different perspectives of their characters throughout the future. So let me see if I could sort of have a reference. So yeah, so I'm just gonna draw like a basic head first, and then sort of have a structured head. It's kind of like similar to like Sandy Cheeks, but not really. Because the head would be his rabbit's head is going to be like, well, not like Bugs Bunny, but trying to make it seem like it's distinct because like his head's sort of like a curve. Yeah. Well, I guess I can always draw something in the future that I might be able to be inspired. So the next part is his body, which I think mostly is just like a pear-shaped body. Not like literally, but it's kind of like a squash. Because he sort of has this. You'll see how as they go. And if you're and like just to make sure I comment something a little bit before I continue, or maybe I'll talk as I draw. But of when I was educated, like in animation or specifically of doing character concepts, like of how usually like artists do is like if it's more of a humanoid or even like more realistic, concepts of subjects, like whether if it's like a horse running or if realistically or even like a human perspective, they have to study specifically in anatomy in order to be able to portray it as as close as they can to be a lifelike animal or a lifelike human being. But like in some cases, like there's cartoons where most of the shapes or even characters like there's sometimes even like human characters that are specifically constructed to be able to resemble shapes. So like you can always even look it up online and you'll be able to see like of why like I'm doing something like this that's kind of unusual of how I do things, but you'll be able to see of once I want to just to make a pose for Rabbit, where he's basically kind of not impatient, but kind of annoyed by like the antics of Tigger, of how of how he's able to trying to say, okay, well, you had your fun or whatever, so let's get serious here. Yeah, and of course, tail, and then it'll make sense as it goes through because like mostly it just helps me visually. Oops. No. Well, it's more of because I want him to somehow kind of go and post with his leg. Like it's like the longest part. Because he's posting his leg like as if he were leaning his hip. And then the last part is just to make sure that the knee kind of closely works its way through. So let's see where we are now. So yeah, the curvature has to be smaller. I think that's why I was sort of having some trouble. Oops. There we go. That should be close enough. Alright, so yeah, so because you want Rabbit's feet to be more a close depiction. And even the body proportion might change. Why? Oh, because like I reshaped it. No, it has to. Yeah, so these are not going to be like the final feet. Because you want like his. No, it's more of. Actually. Actually, it's more of. Because you want like his expression to be more disappointed. So like his ears are not like straight up like in standard. If he was like angry, like of course his ears sometimes get up, but you want him to feel like he's leering upon Tigger in a sense, like he's making an expression that he's like kind of frustrated. So I think this might be a good sort of skeleton, at least for now. And let's make the character smaller for this one. Because and if I don't have more time, I'll be able to do the other character in the future. If I need to. Whether it's a Sonic character. So, alright, so let's make it 20, I think that's what I usually do. So, now remember, of how I do usually for these characters could vary in changes. So, I might have to end up restructuring some concepts. So, And after realizing his legs are actually smaller. I guess I don't want to make it too big. Just enough so you'd be able to differentiate of how the foot. Let's see. Okay, so you want one leg to stick out while the other one is sort of leaning. Oops. As I said, his leg's not meant to be. I'm trying to get the right size. Okay, so yeah, so this is sort of a revision of the previous drawing. So, because you want sometimes the feet to be more organic drawn. Yeah, so trying to see if that looks natural or not. I can always unedit it. No. It's probably have to be like this. So like because like you want his stomach to somewhat stand out, but you don't want like some part of his body seem more transparent. So, and plus his torso has to be skinnier, so I have to sort of change the perspective. And I'm gonna have to fix this perspective feet. Because you want like his feet to somehow structure that it's. I guess I might have to change maybe the leg, but I guess you could have him crouch to be disappointed. But if I want to do like that, I gotta make sure it's more flat on the other. Because if he's just leaning, then I don't usually see Rabbit leaning like on one end. So I actually do see him sometimes actually crouching when he's kind of frustrated. To make it more as closely that I realize of what he would look. I'm not sure if I should do it like a 3D perspective on this character, because when you usually see in drawings like he's either crouching closer, or just standing, or he's just disappointed in a sense where they're like, no payoff. Yeah, so I might be able to say this might be a problem in perspective, but there might be something I could fix on that. We'll see how it goes. And plus, his torso's probably not as long, so we'll try to see if we could get to this point now. This is why it's usually called not winging it, it's more of you're trying to kind of work as you go when you're trying to do revisions. Yeah, to be honest, like, there might be a different change on his arm position. So, this has to be a separate one. Because I might have to change. Because his head's going to be, you know, at least actually decent sized compared to most other, you know, head structures, because I'm going to see if I could make a good impression on Rabbit's expression, and probably have to separate them out too, because I want his shape to be like a type of kind of like an exaggerated like agony like on his expression. So it's supposed to be like rabbit nose. So yeah, so I might have to minimize some of these, because this one's actually a crucial point, because there's some expressions I might have to change as I go. And I might have to shrink it down. And yeah, for a story that I guess I could sort of share, you know, in my youth, I've always carried, I guess you could say a stuffed animal, like when I was young, and it's pretty much this character. So like, if you don't know about the story, I have to make a more of a sad expression. It's more of Yeah, because like as far as one of my parents, of their story, like they always mentioned that like I always carried like rabbit around like in the house when I was young because like it's like an inseparable like sort of connection that I have like with that particular stuffed animal, and that story kind of stuck for a while like for me at the time. So that's until like moments later, like I was able to, well, not moments, like several years. It's just like recently, like when I was going through this, like cleaning out the, what do you call it? Like cleaning out the, I guess my closet, and it's still there. Like the stuffed animal. Like I can't believe I kept it that long. But I'm sure it'll be something that maybe like it's kind of shows like, oh, I have a story. Like I had this when I was a kid. Um, yeah, so yeah, just the overall story. Like I didn't even know like how I was able to still have that sort of memory that like technically at the time I did remember of liking Rabbit at the time. But then later on, like I kind of enjoyed, watching like still like the show of Winnie the Pooh, like even the classics. I'm trying to think of what else, but because like later on, like as I was, you know, in particular, grades. Yeah, in particular grades, I usually like enjoyed Tigger like later on, and then in other times, like I just enjoyed, you know, Winnie the Pooh because like he's more a sincere type of character. And as for Tigger, he's more fun type, and then for Rabbit, he's usually the responsible one. The one that usually is the one that does most of the work. So sometimes, like I guess for most cases, if you, unless if people see online or any other articles of how like, well, besides the obvious whatever creepypastas or any other stories that they have, but like my favorite type of comparison for when they're talking about, oh, like I get it now. So like basically like what they compared is like for the characters for Winnie the Pooh, it's similar to like kind of like similar of the argument of Where the Wild Things Are, the movie was basically a portrayed childhood psyche where most children like at the time like there's at moments whether if we have fun with friends, and then there's at times we have our own, like we have our alone times where most of us where I don't know like most of us try to figure out like if we even like do belong on different things. I think Rabbit's teeth is more round in this one. Well, let's do it my version. So yeah, like I think that's the only thing I was able to then compare with Winnie the Pooh is because like, and they even confirmed most parts like whether in the children's book or even the animated series, they're kind of like the mascots of child psychology, where like they kind of represent like the impressionable children's, like perspective. And sometimes there's kids that do enjoy being, neat, fashioned, and organized. And then there's kids that enjoy having fun, and sometimes, kind of like comparison to Cat in the Hat story, where as long as you don't do things too far, you can always be able to, like, you can still have fun. It's just, just don't have too much fun, or go too far on it. So, I'm trying to see if I'll be able to try and make like an expression of a ton. I guess let's see if it could work. Yeah, because I'm trying to be more and more expressive in most cases of trying to fill in everything, but sometimes it's a little bit of a pain just to draw the mouth, because it just takes more time to fill everything in color. It's not like it's a bad thing, it's just usually, like in Ske-Doodles, we just most likely draw. And that's why I kind of enjoyed, Winnie the Pooh's, because they're kind of like, because like in most, even current shorts for Disney Channel, or, well, not Disney Channel, like the show, but, the channel network, it's like on YouTube currently, like I saw that, like, technically Pooh is like kind of like your first best friend. I guess that's what they're aiming for. And for me, it is. Like, Winnie the Pooh, the series, is sort of like my first best friend, because we had those VHSs at the time. And at the time when we're back, like, in our old childhood home, or I guess because, like, it varies, because, like, pretty much my child home most of the time, it's usually in California, but in a faint time, like, it was in a different state. So this one I might have to change a different color, because, oops. Oh, you know what? You'll kind of see of how it would look in the end. I guess I could just, I guess I can just color the rest here. It just sort of kind of look like it's a close emulation, because, like, there's a dark mouth, and then there's, like, kind of like the little hole. I know it's like contrast, but it should work somehow on its way. Yeah, so that's sort of a short story of, I guess, well, not just the character for, well, I have to somehow merge this to, because you want this character to be more like just realizing, like, oh, what do you do, Tigger? Yeah, as for, like, other Disney characters, they're okay. Alright, I think this should be fine. Yes, you want him to, like, lean back. That's the main thing of why I just ended up posing that here. But I do want this character to have its own... Like, there's, like, nothing, like, underneath it that's, you know, that I missed that I have to remove. Sure. And I'll deal with the other one later. Yeah, so for now, it's just merging these two. Yes, you want this to be its own thing. Okay, so that's sort of a phase one on the face. And now I have to... You want, like, his eyes to portray even... Because you want him to feel like he's frustrated. But, like, this kind of helps me, like, of the eye perspective, because you want something to have more a dynamic expression. So you want, like, his ears to be, like, maybe pulled down. That's what I'm deciding to do now. Because you want, like, his ears to be, like... Yeah, this is also separate, too, because this has to be, like, the right expression. Alright, so... For the arms... They're sort of... grasping upon this. So the knuckles will be right here. Yeah, I know they're not exactly matched. Yeah, so then the arm here. Oh, yeah, the arm here, and then there we go. Because, yeah, when I was looking at the proportions, the arms are not exactly measured correctly. Yeah, you want the arms to be more... I guess... Hold up. I think I might be able to know a better strategy for the ears. But, let's just, for now, let's just draw these. So, this just kind of helps me get an idea. Because you want, like, the proportions for the arms to work. So, this is sort of like an ideal thing of what we're aiming for. But there's another one where even these two are going to be, the opacity would be different. So, okay, so you want, like, his ears to be, like, extended far enough. And this is more, this is where like his, that's why I was wondering, is like, the arms didn't look right. Yeah, so I might end up doing just one character, but I'll do the other one, which is Sonic the Hedgehog, next week. Because I'm looking at the time now. And for this one, I think I needed like more kind of a grasp. On each hand. So like this one, he's grabbing the ears, and it kind of droops from one end. So hopefully I'll be able to draw the same way once I draw in parallel. So it looks like it should be close enough, but I'll have to make sure that that is the right way. Oh yeah, and one other thing is like sometimes, you know, when people would say, "Oh, you know, Winnie the Pooh is just a child's film." Well, yeah, it is, but it's probably better shows than what we have now in most cases. I mean, like at least it did this part, like kind of a way of how they tell their children, like without even telling them, but it kind of gives an impression enough that you just feel like they're kind of genuine of how they act. Um, but yeah, like I really enjoy like the show like as a whole. Because like even like if I'm like 30 years old by now, I'll still watch the show like just for nostalgia purposes. I will do that. I'll try and make sure that I let everyone know that if people say back in the time the shows were not as great back then, and then I laugh because they say nothing. Um, yeah, I usually go for the four fingers rule. And just let you know, like if it doesn't look right the first time, you can just keep revising until you be able to find your right, you know, wind or the right direction of the wind. And it's Ske-Doodles after all. It's not perfect art. I just want to make sure, like when I was drawing it, like it is stable, like it's structured at least decently to be considered as a drawing, and not just like, oh, I'm just, you know, doing scribbles of any sort. I think the tongue is not good shape. Okay, so I was making sure because sometimes it gets on your own nerves. Try to make sure that You have your thumbs. Oops. I think that's good. And then you got your whoosh, and then whoosh, and then and then and then and then. Okay. I have to make sure that the arms are structured properly. Trying to see if I'll be able to. Oop, I guess that's not the right one. Well, I guess I could focus on 18 now. Sometimes you just need the type of specific. There we go. Hopefully on the next one of sketching, I'll be able to have hopefully that yeah, so yeah, it doesn't have to be like symmetrical. I'm just trying to make sure that I have like the palms, well, somewhat the palms down. I say somewhat because you gotta make sure that at least you know like where the structure of the arm goes. Oops. Alright, so is you're trying to lean down and then focus on here. That's what I should have been doing is oops. Yeah, so no, I just wanted at least tangent. Okay. Should be good enough for this. Because the reason why is then this, and then this. Alright. I think it was 18. Alright, so this and then it's 24 again. And then 18 once more. Okay, so I guess now we can erase this part. And that's why for 18, now we could actually get the head in. Yeah, so oops. I think for his belly, for instance, I think it does have some sort of I'm sorry, it looks more like tails. I think he just has like an oval. I think it's about it. And then has, you know, no, it's kind of hard because my tablet is low. But I charged it. Well, I have to make sure it's charged. The good thing is this is going to be one of the sketches for today. Hopefully that I'll be able to have more time in the future. The good thing it's, you know, like when it comes to not have as much battery, good thing it's at the close time when I'm meant to be finishing. So, yeah, it won't have like a belly button or anything, but I might have to revise more to like right here, for instance. And then someone here. Because you need to see of how they're posing in a complex or in a perspective of where he's facing, sort of. And since he's a mammal, you want this character to have kind of fur elbows sometimes. Like sometimes they have and it's not even armpits, it's like their elbows specifically. It's not even like armpit hair. It's technically of how sometimes characters would have as part of the, you know, that kind of helps like animators to be able to differentiate where the elbow is. And then I can actually work more on the ears. Actually, I might be able to work on it in the same one. Hold on. Because you want his ears to feel like they're kind of wrangling up sometimes. It's like as if the agony is coming with the body. In his ears, because I know most ears are like meant to be like in animation are straightened, like so it provides like the easiest transitions, but like most of the time like you do want some expressive results, not just to the character's reactions, but like sometimes there's an animation that is like how mostly people say it's like sort of a follow-up type of animation. It's basically transitioning like in a sense where like if a person is reacting to something, some part of the body follows, like if you're doing an action. So like if a person jumps up and down, usually like in that response of something must go upon it. When it's some sort of pain of when impacting upon like a surface, there has to be some form of misery of how character expresses, especially like of the crunch impact, the ears then, or the crunching, I guess, of the feet. You can see the feet's expression. It's like you could relate to it. You can feel that, you know, that coursing, you know, type of, you know, oof, like right in the area. Yeah, because I'm trying to. Because you want like the ears to be as crispy as they can of the edges on the bottom. There. That should be close enough. Because it's like stretching for this part, and then this one seems normal in comparison. Then I have to fix the feet. So need to know. Okay, so that's where it is. All right. So for the feet, you want. Sorry. You want this foot to be like this. Yeah, so somewhere around like 4:15 or something like that, I should be finished. At least, finished with trying to depict what is something that I wanted to draw in the end. Yeah, so this one's just going to be focused on just one character, so sorry if I won't be able to work on Sonic at this time, but I'll definitely do it next week. And then that week from there, then I could start the next poll. You want this foot to feel it's kind of friendly. Well, not like shoes, but you want it to somewhat be like a rabbit's feet. And plus, I'm not trying to make a closely depicted, rabbit character. If I want to do that, I'll be able to actually see a picture of rabbit. But nope, I decided I want to draw my own depiction of what the rabbit would look like if I draw it in my way. Yeah, so this one needs to be more like this. When you see it now, it's like, oh, it looks more like Bugs Bunny's feet. Ha ha ha. That's like, well, I'm not sure because I haven't finished and haven't even seen current or even previous cartoons in a long while. So, yeah, it looks to me like it would be, I don't know, it could even be like a reptilian feet if I know. But this is the only way I'll be able to actually be able to separate the idea that I know it's like, oh, this is actually rabbit's feet, or if this one is something that I'd be able to draw, that be something at least distinct in some way that kind of looks similar. So I'll probably, end up finishing on this one. So at least it kind of shows that, alright, at least he kind of made a distinct look on how a feet should look. Because it almost looked like Bugs Bunny's feet if I just leave them drawn like that. But, yeah, this one is Rabbit, if anybody just caught up. Yeah, so I want to make sure that I have the right leggings. Because, like, it just kind of helps me out. Okay, so maybe like this. And let's see if we'll be able to finish off in a similar tangent of how the other one looked. Almost. I'm trying to match this leg. Alright, this should work. Actually, let's make it smaller. Because actually, like, the leg should be, you know, somewhat closely larger in perspective if his foot is close. So his leg should be like here, and then the leg should be here. Alright, I think that's close enough. Yeah, and I have to make sure that I get the right proportions. This is a rabbit after all, not just like a rabbit with pad feet. Yeah, I think that's kind of a good enough perspective. Let's see how it looks so far. Alright. Okay, let's kind of move those different ones. Yeah, definitely turn that off too. This one? Yeah. Alright. So, it doesn't look too bad so far. He's sort of like still frustrated, and I guess he's sort of like still has that sort of dang it, why am I doing this still type of mood. Yeah, there's some parts I might still have to add some parts, like where his kneecap would be. I guess it's not necessary, but who knows, it's my drawing, so his chest is not even that large, and the rest is just his stomach. Oh, that's right. It's actually at the top. Yeah, so I guess I could draw some other parts on the feet still. Like, I still have to draw, like, those feet pads. Maybe not. I don't know, it's just my preference. Should... no, it makes it more like human feet for me, even though it's not. I'll just leave them as this, and... well, definitely one thing's for sure I still have to do is the tail. Yeah. No. Make it round, but make it... oops. Oh, it's... oops. Oops. It's... alright, that should be good. Start cleaning a little bit. Alright, so... I still have to do the eyes now. Because I think I got most of the part of the body. And I still have to do that chin. I still have to do the chin. I forgot. Because part of the chin also has some sort of like kind of crisp type of look. It's like there's a chin and also cheeks is kind of a good way of do my own take. Nope. It's probably back at 18. Nope. It's probably 21. Nope. It's somewhere. I thought, okay, it might be 24 because it's the arm. Okay. And just in case, I'll erase that too. So it's still 20. Yeah, I still have to think still this expression. And then this expression. Yeah, so this is the point where I have to make sure that, like I said for the eyes, because they're still there. Because the reason why is that I'm trying to and yeah, I still have to trying to make sure that they're still closely depicted as a rabbit from his end. That's why I was wondering, it's like I'm missing something. Alright, so I still have to do this. Okay, so but here's the thing. I want this expression to, you know, to be the best depiction of why this looks like that. So for this case, the eye has to be like as if it were in pain. So oops. It's still the face, right? Okay, sorry. So this still has to make sure that so this is why from this point it's more of okay, so this eye, this eye, as I said, it has to be like this. And then the head is now proportionate of the ears at the time where he's still striving. Yeah, and this too has to be erased. Yeah, this one has to be like closely depicted on this end, while the other one is just who knows where. Yeah. Probably it's like this. Yeah, this is probably not the most appealing thing now. Oops. Yeah, just... This is now, like, looks like a Ren and Stimpy thing now. Where it's just, like, even how much you'd be able to draw this, it's, like, when you're even trying to draw the most sincere characters, it's still gonna look like a disaster. Well, not a disaster, but it's gonna look more of a character that's like, even just looking at this picture, it's like hard to look at. Alright, so yeah, so should be close to finishing. I think it looks like about it. Yeah, it should be close enough. Let me see if I could bring everything out. Yeah, just making sure that's the same one. Because I don't want to delete those.
Are you online?
Yeah, I'm online. Yeah. I'm just finishing with this drawing. Yeah, it's just a few minutes and I should be finished. Yeah, this one actually is the closely depicted thing I could draw. It's not the best, but hey, I took the time drawing it. And it looks actually decent looking. At least in a sense where it's structured well. Oh yeah, and one last thing. Sometimes he has... I think I could fix that. Yeah, since due to miscalculation, I'll have to... Oops. I'll have to draw these in a different way. Alright. Trying to compare of how the other thing looked. Oops. It should be close enough. I mean, look at it now. Yeah, so I guess this is the closest thing I think I pretty much have. Well, at least I'll save that.
So you're done?
Yeah, what do you think of it? It's basically Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh.
I guess it looks funny.
Yeah, it's like him being, like, how do I...
Like crazy?
No, like, he's, like, frustrated because
Okay.
like he's trying because like usually like when Tigger shows up and he's doing his antics of goofing around or saying let's do bouncing, and then Rabbit is just frustrated because like he thinks that Tigger's procrastinating on stuff where it's like you should be doing these things or you should not. I mean, like bouncing is, like I get it's fun, but like the problem is that like you're wasting your time on doing these things while you could just, you know, use that energy to work. So that's basically Rabbit's just like sometimes like if Tigger kind of gets on his nerves sometimes that's how he usually reacts. Like his like in his mind I would usually think he's just like it's like he's a very stressful rabbit, but he's a hardworking type of character. But yeah, like it. So I wish I had more time on working on Sonic, but like I focus primarily just focusing on just this one character in detail. So,
do you think it has more detail like from his upper body than like
no, like
his legs?
I try to balance it out because I think the legs are the least detailed. Well, at least the center is detailed enough, and then the higher end.
The higher end is like
because like I'm supposed to make his ears feel like it's stretched out, that it seems like he's in pain like when it's stretching, rather than just having him feel like they're kind of like pulled as if it were a cartoon, like kind of pulled. So like at least like in comparison, like that's why the top end of the ear is straightened, but like the ears are still like shriveled with agony. And then while the rest is just like, and then his eyes are pretty much kind of also suffering from the exterior of the eye line. So, I don't know, like I guess this is an okay drawing. Let's see what I can hear from other people. I mean, yeah, I guess he does sort of have a bigger belly, but I guess for now, like just for the sake of just of how it looked, I guess like in perspective, like I guess in this stomach is round. It's just the perspective is different. So at least it's more of a pear shape. At least that's all I can remember. But other than that, like, thank you everyone for watching. Like, as far as I know, and to hear some stories about Winnie the Pooh of what I know about it, and yeah, so like and I'll do Sonic the Hedgehog in the future, and I'll try to do this one other finishing touch for this character, but it's not really as much, but yeah, like it's a nice thing to share some stories once in a while of like experiences in childhood sometimes. Yeah, so that's about it. And hopefully that I'll draw Sonic the Hedgehog, or at least one of the characters overall in the future. For sure in next week on Ske-Doodle. And hopefully on Thursday I'll show you like another sort of thing I'm doing in work in progress. So yeah, so overall, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next time. And because I usually try to figure out like different way of saying like goodbye or see you for now. Because like I don't have a distinct thing to say.
How many watchers did you have today?
I think it's just one so far. It's usually like one or a few daily.
Okay.
But like I don't really.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to see if I'll go through the list so I could see which names I could find. I guess outro remark. I guess. Let's see. No, that's not it. Dang it. I guess. I guess I always like saying later, but I don't want to say peace out because I don't want to copy somebody else or Brofist or I guess Bamcam or I don't know. Like there's these different like outros that people say. Um, I guess see you on the flip side and live a better life, everyone. Okay, bye.